Russia, Ukraine, day 7. Oil, 114, 112 in the case of WTI or for a month NYMEX. Asia, net oil or energy importer, things don't look good.
That's right. All of Asia, really, except Malaysia, are net importers for oil. And so the risk premium put on oil price right now is something that will filter through much of the Asian economy. The risk to Asia is really through the potential for higher inflation. But at least Asia doesn't generally trade directly with Russia. Outside of China and India, I think those are the two countries that have the most direct trade linkages with Russia. Other than that, it is really all indirect, and all indirect really through commodity pricing. That's a risk for Asia. But that was a risk for Asia even before the Ukraine conflict started. Inflation was beginning to accelerate in a number of countries in Asia already over the last several months, and indeed a couple of central banks have already begun moving on their tightening cycles because of this. South Korea, Singapore, New Zealand are the examples in Asia. So what this does is it heightens the risk for Asia. But I think Asia we have to think is at less risk than Europe, that has the direct linkages through natural gas shipments and through direct supply chain linkages. The risk here is much less than it is in Europe.
Much less than it is in Europe. Got it. That's the macro. When you drill down, though, and you talk about the potential effect on whether it's not going to mess up supply chains even more, and take a look specifically at the whole problem of the chip shortage, semiconductor issue, very sort of arcane but essential, crucial things like neon, which is a gas, right? Semiconductor-grade neon. 90% of that comes from Ukraine. Is it going to be that easy to find sort of an alternative?
This is one of the bigger risks going forward, and it's of concern because the supply chains in Asia seem to have eased over the last few months. If you look at some of the economic indicators, industrial production, exports around the region, they've actually been very, very strong in the fourth quarter, January and February. And it really looked like supply chains were beginning to ease. My understanding is that most of the semiconductor industry, as those supply shortages came along, were able to build up inventories of some of these rare gases and rare metals that come out of Ukraine and Russia and other places. And so the industry seems to be okay for now in terms of inputs. The real question is what happens going forward if this lasts a long, long time, if we get into the second half of the year, say, and there are still uncertainties in terms of what's happening with Ukraine and whether trade may be able to continue again. So that's when the risk really begins to appear.